Welcome to the Senior Scoop, where experience meets community. Hi, I'm Deborah Samuel.
And I'm Kelsey Samuel. We're your hosts, bringing you real stories, trusted advice, and expert tips for seniors and their families right here in beautiful Santa Barbara.
Now, let's meet the incredible team behind the scenes at SBSOS, making it all possible.
The Senior Scoop is proudly brought to you by SBSOS, Santa Barbara's support network for seniors. Visit sbsos.care or call us at 805-946-0060 to learn more.
Now, let's dive into this week's Senior Scoop. Well, good morning. We are here this beautiful Friday morning with Cyndi Silverman, the Chief Executive Officer for the Jewish Federation of Santa Barbara, and we have Kelsey Samuel here, my co-host for the show. Thank you, ladies, for being here.
I think it's only appropriate since it is Friday. Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos. Thanks for having me. What a pleasure.
Yes, we're so glad that you've taken your morning to spend with us here at the Senior Scoop Studios.
Thank you. There are no two women in the world that I'd rather hang out with than the two of
sweet.
Oh, wow. We'll take that. Well, Cyndi, you've had quite the career. You've started your career in Vancouver Island. You spent time there with the Jewish Federation as the executive director, or were you the director?
I was the executive director of all the islands up in Vancouver Island.
Oh, my goodness.
Which there are a number of them.
Oh, yes. And then I know you spent time at the ADL, as the Tri-County Santa Barbara area for 11 years. And received your bachelor's in organizational psychology from San Diego State.
Absolutely.
Now that comes in handy with the type of work you do.
It sure does.
Well, wonderful. Well, we'll get started this morning. Kelsey, lead us off with a question for Cyndi in our Senior Scoop.
Well, I think a lot of people probably don't even really understand what the Jewish Federation does and is. Like, is the Jewish Federation a synagogue? Is it a place of learning? Is it a place of gathering? So I think that'd be a good place to start, is just trying to understand what the Jewish Federation of Santa Barbara does and is.
That's great. Thank you. Great question. And it's all of those and more. So the Jewish Federation in Greater Santa Barbara is actually called a functional federation. So we are a Jewish family service, a Jewish community center, and federation. So we do a lot of things for the Jewish community and for the community at large. So one of my favorite programs that we do for the whole community is Wellness Wednesday. And I think we'll talk about that a little bit.
We're definitely going to get into the fabulous programs. And I think that's, you already bring up a very interesting point that the Jewish Federation exists not just to be of service to the Jewish community here in Santa Barbara, but to the community at large. And I think we'll get into that with the programs that you
Absolutely.
Well, one of the things I love about being Jewish is it revolves around a lot of food. So I want to lead off immediately with talking about Etty's Deli, and how did you come up with the idea of bringing people together through food?
Well, one of the problems that we have being downtown is we don't have a pool and we don't have a basketball court. So we didn't really have a lot to draw people in. So I have a theory, if you feed them, they'll come. And boy, have they come. Since we opened a year ago, we have 2,500 new members.
Amazing.
A lot not Jewish. And every day you've got a full group of people out. A lot of people know each other. And so it's really become the gathering place. In fact, one of our regulars, we have a men's group that comes every Thursday. He says, the food's great, but it's really not about the food. It's about the fact we can come here. And it is really a great place to gather.
Wow, and that's incredible. So people downtown, this is now another wonderful place to have lunch.
Absolutely. We have people coming in for lunch. We have different businesses hosting their board retreats there. We had Santa Barbara City College on Saturday the foundation was doing a board retreat. We have a number of different organizations that will come in for the space and for the food, because since the remodel a year, it is gorgeous. It is really beautiful.
Well, let's talk about, like, on the menu. like, does it change? Is it a set menu, or do you have specials sometimes?
Well, of course, we always have pastrami and corned beef and always on rye and matzo ball soup. You can always get those. But no, the chefs come up with a fabulous special, usually 3 or 4. He makes the best onion soup, like the kind in the bowl with the cheese over the top with a piece of rye bread inside. So delicious. And the fun part is our chefs, one was the head chef at Sly's in Carpinteria, which is a very well-known restaurant for their matzo ball soup. And the other one is the sous chef and pastry chef at Lucky's at Night. So I feel very lucky to have these amazing chefs that are cooking in our kitchen.
Wow. So can people order online and pick up?
Absolutely. Through DoorDash, you can go online, go on our website, put in an order. You can order baked goods to be picked up on Friday. But yeah, DoorDash will deliver right to your house.
So a New York pastrami sandwich is available now in Santa Barbara, California.
A really good one. In fact, people come in and they say our pastrami is better than New York. So yes.
awesome.
Well, that's quite a compliment.
I mean, one thing that you just mentioned was, how this deli has allowed you to bring people together and these community groups, and then also bar and bat mitzvahs, and really it allowed you to open up more broadly to the community.
Absolutely. We've hosted weddings. We've hosted bar and bat mitzvahs. We have a big one coming up in September with 150 people. That'll be our biggest. We're excited about it. But we've hosted a lot of celebrations of life, and along with our different programs where people come in from all over and the whole community. So it's not just the Jewish community.
Wow. Well, that's just a tribute to the efforts that you've put behind bringing people together, because that is, it all started around food that really drove this big initiative, and now the incredible amount of people having lunch there. It's a testimony. We need more parking.
We definitely need more parking. We do,
Well,
for
let's talk a
sure.
little bit more about this food, because really it started with challah.
It did. So
Well, let's explain what challah is, just in case people don't know
good
what challah
idea.
is.
So challah is that beautiful braided bread that you see usually in the grocery store on Friday. It's a ceremonial Jewish bread that we, before we eat, we break bread, we say a prayer, and it's just delicious, especially if you make it in French toast, which is everyone's favorite. But we started during COVID when we were closed and people couldn't come in, and people were in their homes and felt really locked in and sad. We started a program called Random Acts of Challah. And my person at the time, she had this amazing psychic challah ability, and she would make a list of people that she felt needed challah that day. And all of our staff would go out and deliver. And of course, when we were delivering, we would visit with the people outside while they were inside or at their gates. And we would get the most amazing notes. My husband just passed away, and I was so sad, and I came home, and here was this challah. And I just felt like the community was there for me. I got home from the airport at 11 o'clock at night, and I had no food in my house, and there was this challah waiting for me. So we have hundreds of really beautiful stories of people who were impacted by the challah delivery.
Yes.
So it's been a wonderful program.
And also, let's sort of start getting into these programs a little bit that the Federation offers. Again, another visiting home program that you offer with
Rabbi Debbie. So we have a program called Caring Visitors. And we volunteers who want to go out and visit with people, not therapists, some of them are therapists, and they'll go out and sit for an hour once a week. They commit to it, and they'll go, and somebody who's homebound, or we have people who have a little bit of dementia who just want, something different. We'll go into senior homes. In fact, I was doing one of the Caring Visitors because there was a 102-year-old woman at Casa Dorinda, and my grandmother died at 101. And so I asked Rabbi Debbie, can I take this one? And I would go and visit her every week. It's very special for the visitor and for the visitee. So it's a really lovely program.
Absolutely. And again, it's not just visiting Jewish people.
When I took over Federation, one of the questions that I had to our head of Jewish Family Service and to Rabbi Debbie, I said, how many Jews are we visiting and how many non-Jews? And they laughed. And I said, why are you laughing? They said, because there's no one Jewish that needs to be visited. And I said, You're kidding. I can give you 5 people right now. So it is, Rabbi Debbie still has a really sweet little Latino man that she goes and visits every week, which, for a rabbi to be visiting, but she loves him and he loves her. But we do have a lot of now both Jewish and non-Jewish people that we visit.
Yes, so it's I know that one of the beautiful things about our work is the time that we get to spend with our clients. And sometimes I feel that 80+% of my job is just sitting and listening and helping people review their lives. And it's fascinating.
Absolutely.
Another really wonderful senior program that you have over at the Jewish Federation is the J Café.
So J Café, which is a really fun program that happened with the remodel. We've had for a long time a program called the Schmooze Room. And a lot of people...
The Schmooze Room.
Schmooze Room. Okay. But a lot of the people that were coming to the Schmooze Room were not Jewish. They were people who needed support. We would give them, groceries. We had a meal. But we transformed that into another program, which we'll talk about in a minute, which is probably my favorite program right now. But we decided we really wanted it to be about the Jewish community coming together and having an opportunity to talk to each other. So we didn't want to take the Schmooze Room away and take that aspect of supporting the entire community. So we started J Café. Every Tuesday, you come to the center. You get a $10 lunch. A buffet lunch includes sandwich and soup and salad and dessert.
Fantastic.
And something to drink. And usually a program. We alternate sometimes programs. The women want a program. The men want to talk to each other. So we try and make everybody happy. But we have on average 40. There are times that we'll do a great program that 80 seniors will show up. They come from the different retirement homes. And they're just so excited to be there and to be together and to talk to each other. And what can you say? A $10 pastrami sandwich? You can't turn it down. I mean, that's a deal with soup and dessert. So people really love it. And it's pretty much the same people coming. And then, people hear about it and additional people will come in.
And so that's on Tuesdays.
Tuesdays at 11:30, J Café. And people have come in who aren't Jewish. And of course, that's fine too. But the majority of people that come are Jewish and know each other. And it's a great opportunity for, people who are at Casa Dorinda to visit with the people that are Moravia or the people of Valverde, because we have people coming from all the senior homes in addition to people who are not yet in a senior home.
So before we get into the very competitive Mahjong
Oh, goodness sakes.
program,
I got stories about Mahjong.
I actually had a personal goal this year to learn how to play bridge and mahjong, and I did learn how to play mahjong, but I have realised that there's Chinese mahjong and American Jewish mahjong. But before we get into the fun and games, you do have some wonderful programs as well, like you were alluding to, food and diaper giving, etc.
We started with the remodel when we stopped doing the Schmooze Room, which was a lot of the downtown unhoused community. We started a program called Wellness Wednesday. It is on Wednesday. It's at 3:00 in the afternoon. We give out diapers. You can't get diapers with food stamps. So that's a big challenge for especially our downtown Hispanic community. So we do diapers, we do baby wipes, we set up like a grocery store from the food bank. We have a hot meal that we hand out. And it's mostly we serve now 50 to 75 downtown Hispanic families.
Amazing.
But we also have a number of unhoused people who will know that they'll get a free meal and can come in. We have our Jewish family service therapists that are there at the time so that they can do check-ins, make sure people are doing okay from week to week. It's a lot the same people. But then we have the opportunity if somebody's having a challenge. We are one of the only organizations in town that our Jewish family service offers Medicare. So you can come to JFS and Medicare will pay for your therapy sessions. And so that is not easy to find in Santa Barbara.
Oh, that's
so
incredible.
That's a really
real professional
popular,
help.
Get professional help with Medicare paying for it. So I love this program. I actually spoke with a physician, a wonderful physician that goes down to Mexico to do work in Mexico once a month. And it's getting a little bit challenging sometimes down there. So she said, oh, I'd love to come. I can do blood pressure. I can do glucose tests. So we're looking at adding an element where people can get a wellness check, an actual medical wellness check while they're there.
Fantastic.
So it's a wonderful program for the downtown community and for people who come from all around. But the mothers come in with their babies every week, and we get to see these babies growing up. And so I love this program. It really, I mean, I cry every time I'm there for Wellness Wednesday because the people that come in and the needs that are met.
They really need your assistance.
They really need our assistance, and it's now more than ever.
And that's one of the reasons we're doing this podcast, and we wanted to bring you on the show today, is many of these services and most people won't know about.
Right.
They have no idea this even exists. And
Right.
so thank you for sharing all this with, not only just the Santa Barbara community that'll see this podcast, but people beyond.
Absolutely.
So kudos to you because,
Thank you.
a lot of the services that we've been and programs that we've been talking about so far didn't exist prior to your engagement with the Federation. And so, I think it's just amazing the networking that you've been able to do, the legacy giving programs that you've been able to sustain. So,
Well, and things like this, they just don't happen. It really takes somebody with a passion and somebody that really has the gusto to go after, a fund, like a capital campaign that you were the spearhead behind. And speak a little bit about that, Cyndi, because, you really made it happen. You had a vision, you had a dream, and you were like, go big, go home, really. I mean,
That was always my line, go big or go home.
And it's so important because programming like this just doesn't happen. It really doesn't. It usually takes somebody with a real drive and a passion for the idea and turning that idea of something into a reality.
So first I have to give a shout out to my staff. I have an amazing group of young people who work for me. And a lot of these come out in ideas from this group. And we build it and we talk about it and we tweak it and create it. So I have to give a lot of credit to my staff, who Wellness Wednesday was not my idea. It was actually we have an executive director of the JCC. It was her idea, and she loves it. But it wouldn't happen without the community and without the money that we're able to raise in the community. And I think that we live in a very generous town. Santa Barbara is
phenomenal.
Incredibly generous. And they really want to support the community, especially the arts. We have a lot of support for the arts. And the Jewish community is supportive. And I have one donor, he saw that we were opening a deli. He called me up. He said, I love the deli idea. Can I come talk to you? Not Jewish, a philanthropist in town, gave us $250,000 for the capital campaign just because he loved the idea of the deli.
Unbelievable.
So it's been really, my other favorite is my pastrami sandwich story about a gentleman who I've always wanted to talk to. He lives in Burnham Woods, and I've never been able to get to him. And he called up and ordered a pastrami sandwich to be delivered. And my building manager delivered it to him. This was Tuesday. He called Thursday, wanted a pastrami sandwich. I delivered it to him, got to talk to him, had a wonderful conversation. And the next day we got a $25,000 gift because he said, I know you're going to struggle keeping that deli afloat, and I want to make sure it stays afloat.
Yes.
I want my
So I
Thursday
call it
pastrami.
my $25,000 pastrami sandwich.
Oh, my goodness.
So the community's been very supportive, but it has been a challenge. We started off with a $2.5 million campaign. It ended up being more like $5.5 million.
Yes.
But the other program that we should talk about that was really why I wanted people in the building was our Portraits of Survival program.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that because it really is so cutting edge and just an amazing way to continue to be able to educate and enlighten people.
Absolutely. So Portraits of Survival is honoring our Holocaust survivors that have lived in Santa Barbara, and some still live in Santa Barbara. I think we have about 10 that are still alive and here, but we have 42 survivors in the exhibit. But it started off as a little static exhibit, and we were bringing about 2,000 students in Santa Barbara School District through to find out what happens when hate goes to its extreme, and that's genocide. And they would listen to a survivor, and then they would break up into 3 groups, have a personal conversation with a survivor. One group would go and do a stand-up against hate workshop with one of our staff, and then the other group would go into this small exhibit. But what I found was they weren't looking at the portraits anymore. They were talking, they were looking at their phones. I would say, hey, we have Ivan Reitman here. He did Ghostbusters. And they're like, so? So we thought, well, if they're looking at their phones, let's digitize it. So we took all these beautiful frames apart. A wonderful volunteer did it for us, digitized everything. And it's just beautiful on 3 screens. You can go, you can scroll through the portraits, you can see their artwork, you can read their story, you can hit a video that will talk about Kristallnacht. And then we realized there's even better technology out there than this. And so we have recorded 5 of our survivors in AI technology. So basically, it's like a hologram. So you can come in and have a conversation with Erica Kahn as though she's still, well, she is still here. You can still have a conversation with Erica Kahn and George Rusnak, but you can talk to them in AI. And the exciting thing is the students will continue, we'll send them home with a barcode, and they'll continue to engage with the survivor for an average of 32 minutes once they go home. And then when they come back to the museum, they'll introduce their family. This is Erica Kahn, as though they know her. So this interaction is so personal and so impactful. And we're one of the few places in the world that has this technology. So little old Santa Barbara has this wonderful AI Holocaust exhibit.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, the use of technology, to help educate people, and the way that you can interact. I mean, you literally can ask the person on the screen any question you want.
Absolutely.
And there is an appropriate answer.
There's an answer.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
phenomenal.
And I think the most fun is when you see Erica Kahn come talk to Erica Kahn. So, which happens
Don't I know you?
frequently. Frequently.
Well, I know that your goal originally, there was around 3,000 students coming through the exhibit. And now, what kind of numbers are you seeing with teachers bringing their students through with this new technology?
We're hoping for 10,000 students this year, and the entire county leadership of the school district came out and did a tour, and they're supporting all of the schools bringing their students through as part of the educational program. So we're really looking to increase that to 10,000 students every year to come through and learn about the Holocaust.
Well, that's incredible. As a former teacher of 20 years, I can tell you, hands-on intrinsic learning that's real, and with the AI technology and the use of this to stimulate students, because they are going to be on their phones. And so going ahead and taking that technology to the next level with capturing these beautiful interviews, it really is something that you just won't forget.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be something you just turn the page. It's really a truly intrinsic experience when I see the students in the Holocaust Museum, going through that Portraits of Survival.
So, you're a very forward thinking person, and I know that we have our Jewish Film Festival coming up.
We
but
do.
What is your expectation for the Federation in the next 5 to 10 years? Like, what are you sort of hoping for?
Besides buying all of downtown and building a swimming pool and a tennis court and a pickleball court?
We would love you to. I mean, we only have, it's amazing to think that Santa Barbara only has one community swimming pool.
I
Los
know.
Baños.
So that would be
for
my
that.
ultimate goal. And there are properties around that I am looking at. But
Well,
just
Cyndi, if it can happen, it's going to happen.
in the not so distant future, I'd love to see Etty's Deli really take off. It's one of my consultants who owns Local Montecito, Mike Sheldon. We went out to lunch, and I said, so what advice can you give me? He said, well, you're going to go broke selling sandwiches. And he's right. We will go broke selling sandwiches. So our catering is really taking off, our in-house catering, our to-go orders. And so at this point, because it really is such a vital place for the community to gather and talk and eat. My goal is to just keep Etty's at that level where we can expand it to it being an income stream.
Wow.
So that's my
And it's only
most
been,
recent goal.
are we even a year?
August 13th.
Right, I was
will
about
be
to
a
say,
year.
yes. I mean, it's a very, very impressive where you have gotten to in under a year. So I'm very hopeful for the expansion of Etty's Deli. I can see Etty's Deli taking over that and you having to buy another building for all your Federation services.
We've been looking at the building next door. We have been, because we probably will at some point. You know, because if we're bringing 10,000 students through when we have people having lunch, it gets a little crowded.
Yes, yes.
So our hope is to expand,
Yes.
into one of the
Well,
buildings.
that's then another opportunity. Do you want to talk about?
Yeah, there's the opportunity for expansion with the Federation, with the potential of, another building or expanding the education program. Maybe let's talk a little bit about the new rabbi that's just come on board with how he's going to be helping the Federation.
Yes. So Rabbi Zach Zeisman, who, if you're in Santa Barbara, is Sissy Tarrant's son-in-law. If you're not in Santa Barbara, you don't know Sissy. But if you are, you know Sissy.
I did not know that he was.
He's her son-in-law. And we brought him in because we do have a Hebrew school and a B'nai Mitzvah program. Now it's called a B Mitzvah program. So we brought Rabbi Zach in to help us with our bar and bat mitzvah students. And we realized that he actually is a second-generation survivor, which means he had family in the Holocaust. And so he's going to be doing some of our Portraits of Survival, in addition to working with our Hebrew school. And already he's been doing funerals and weddings. And, it didn't take long for him to really be busy, because we have wonderful rabbis in this town. We are so blessed.
Very blessed,
With fabulous rabbis, and Rabbi Daniel Brenner, having just taken over at the synagogue, is just a dream. He's so wonderful, but he's completely overwhelmed. I mean, he's got this huge congregation, and there's such a need for people who aren't affiliated. And so having a community rabbi will allow people, we get calls, unfortunately, pretty often now. Can you do a funeral? Because we don't have a rabbi in town to do a funeral. So he's really been really busy in the time that he started, and we're launching the Hebrew school in September, and he'll be even more busy. So it's exciting to have a community rabbi.
And then you're just finishing up the summer program.
We
Camp
had
Havarim, yes.
Camp Havarim was a
Yes.
huge success
Oh,
this
my,
year.
that's right.
At Santa Barbara City College. Have to give a shout out to Santa Barbara City
Yes.
College.
Yes.
They've
Great
been an
location.
amazing location for us, very supportive.
Yes.
And the kids love it. I mean, they've got a hill that the slip and slide goes on. That's the best hill you could ever imagine. And we had 70 campers, and we have campers in training. So we have about 100 people out there all together. And unfortunately, this year we had to hire security. Hopefully we won't have to do that in the future, but we did have a security guard this year. And we have Israeli counselors that come in, the madrakim that have been really wonderful. So it's a great program, and the families love it. They really do. And they all ask us, can't we do more than 4 weeks? But I have to tell you, my staff is exhausted after 4 weeks. And at one morning, I was running the film festival meeting, running Etty's Deli and the front desk, because I had no staff. They were all out at camp.
Well, it's a beautiful program. It's so enriching to see the kids down there by the college campus and down by the harbor. And, it's really a wonderful 4 weeks just filled with just incredible activities for the kids.
It is. It's a great program.
So how can someone support the Federation, like financially, and maybe talk a little bit about all the levels of support that someone could, in fact, offer?
Absolutely. So of course, we love when people donate to just support us in any way that we need to be supported. But we have someone who just underwrote a wonderful program called At the Table. And so they underwrote the program, and we're bringing in Jewish food speakers. And so that gives us an opportunity to do something specific. It's funded by Susan Rose. But you can support Etty's Deli. You can support the Holocaust program, the Holocaust education program. You can support the buses that bring the students in. So there are lots of ways to give, directed giving, and also just general non-restricted giving that helps us just keep the lights on and the doors open and pay the staff to do the great work we do. And then there's legacy giving, which has really kept us afloat. I have to
Right.
say, in
Right.
my favorite, when I started with the Federation in November, I didn't realize like the condition we were in, and I went into the bookkeeper's office and she said to me, I can't pay the salaries this month. And I said, what do you mean? She said, there's no money to pay the salaries. And I was pretty stressed about that.
I imagine so.
And I get a call from a lawyer who says to me, someone's just passed away, gave me their name, and they've left you a gift. We don't know at this point how much that gift is. And I said, okay, this is good news. So I looked the person up. They'd been giving us since 2014 $25 a year, which is, a lot of people, give at any level. $25 a year was wonderful. And he left us $3 million in his estate.
Amazing.
So it really allowed us to get on track. We raised money in 25 for 26, which is a dream position for a nonprofit, to be able to raise your budget the year before for your next year. And so that gift really set us up. And so legacy giving has been really important to the Federation for years. I would say every year that we're short, that's really helped us to move on. So you can leave a gift in your trust or will. You can give a gift while you're here. You can come into Etty's Deli and have lunch and name a $25,000 sandwich, which we do have a lot of sandwiches named.
Yes.
So there's lots of ways to give. And of course, being a nonprofit that at this point is struggling with some of the government programs that have been taken away from us, we need support more than ever.
Wow. Well, I know one of the things that's a big draw here in Santa Barbara is the Jewish Film Festival. So let's just touch on that a little bit I know you were just at a meeting today about the festival.
I just came from a meeting.
And give us the insider scoop, dates and what we might be looking forward to this year.
Perfect. Well, we start November the 5th to the 9th. It's a Wednesday night. Every time we start to review films, I'm on the film committee, I think, oh my goodness, we're not going to have any good films this year. So we were sitting down actually saying, everybody gave this film a 9 or a 10, but we have this other great film. So we were really having to downsize what we'd already chosen because there are so many awesome films this year. I am in conversation. I have to say she hasn't committed yet with Tova Feldshuh, who, if you don't know Tova from her amazing body of work in the theater and film, I said to my young staff, they said, who's Tova Feldshuh? I said, did you happen to see the series Nobody Wants This? Did you see Nobody Wants This, the series everyone loves? She was the Jewish grandmother in 6 of the, what do they call the series? Episodes,
yes,
thank you.
yes.
She was the Jewish grandmother. Oh my goodness. So she hasn't said yes yet. But we have such a lineup of films. It's just incredible this year. We will be again at the Newvic Theater. People tend to love it. It's
fantastic.
really sweet and intimate. And so we'll have a pre-reception, and then we'll have some wine and cheese. We're showing a really great documentary about Joe Lieberman, made by one of our local donors' cousins. And so he'll be coming to speak about this really fabulous documentary. We just have the best films this year. Funny. We really tried to find funny ones. People need to laugh.
Yes.
So we're working hard on making sure that people can come out and laugh. And then, of course, we have a great shorts program. So that starts Wednesday night, November the 5th, goes through Sunday night, the 9th, and we'll be again at the Newvic Theater.
Oh, wonderful.
So I think it's only appropriate at this stage that I know we'll put it down below as well, but the website for the Jewish Federation.
You just have to put in Jewish Santa Barbara, and you can find Etty's Deli. You can
Love that.
find JFS. You can find all our programs.
Oh, that's
Yes.
Jewish
fantastic.
Santa Barbara is all it takes.
Well, Cyndi, it's really an honor and a pleasure to both be your friend and serve with you on the board. But thank you for taking time out of your extremely busy schedule to come sit down with us here at the Senior Scoop with Kelsey and I, and
Thank you.
share, some of the wonderful things going on that we want to share with the community, so they know that these programs are going on in our backyard.
It's extensive. It's unbelievable, the different programs and the breadth of community you're able to outreach and assist and play with and have fun with and support.
Well,
Thank you to you guys for
Yeah.
all you do for our senior community, because every time I go over to one of the retirement homes, I see your truck outside and I see you in there making a beautiful place for somebody, and the
thank you.
excitement of walking in to something that's complete. You guys do. It's really a mitzvah what the two of you
Thank
do.
you. It's very special.
Thank
it's our
you.
honor. Well, before we let you go, I have a couple last-minute questions, because we always ask our guest, what is, one of the favorite places you like to dine here in Santa Barbara? And so,
Need you ask?
I know.
Etty's Jewish Deli and Bakery.
What's your favorite item on the menu?
Your favorite.
It's so hard. The matzo ball soup is the best in the country, and people will tell you that. The matzo ball soup's the best. I'm not much of a meat eater, so I like the salad trio, but when he does the onion soup, it's so good.
Okay.
But I have to give a shout out to Etty, too, who named the deli, who's just darling.
An amazing support of our community.
Amazing supporter of our community.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Well, and when you're not at Etty's Deli, what do you do for fun and recreation? I know you're a big traveler, so do you have anything on the radar for a trip coming up or anything special?
Mexico City next week.
Wow.
Maybe Japan and Bali in October.
Oh.
Yeah. I just came back from Bali and Hawaii. So, I try and travel as much as I can. And luckily, I have a great staff who can take over when I'm gone.
Well, thank goodness you are getting some travel time.
Thank
Because when
you.
you're here, you're working.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again, Cyndi. It's really been a pleasure. And Kelsey, as we sign off today on this episode, we thank everybody for joining in at the Senior Scoop on our podcast. And if you like our show, share it with a neighbor and a friend, and we'll see you on the next edition.